Hello, ARMY! You're surely familiar with Jimin from BTS being one of the best dancers in the K-pop industry, right? But did you know that behind all his stunning dance abilities, JHope played a crucial role that changed everything? And even more surprisingly, this major transformation started with just 3 simple words. Curious? Let's dive deep into this inspiring story. Before we get into the main story, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss other exciting BTS content. Okay, let's get started. So guys, this story begins from Jimin's early days joining Big Hit Entertainment as a trainee. Do you know that Jimin actually experienced incredibly difficult struggles early in his trainee career? Shocking, right? When we see him perform now, it looks like second nature to him. But it turns out his journey wasn't as easy as we thought. Unlike JHope, who already had a very strong street dance background and was even part of the underground dance scene, Jimin came from a different background. He came from Busan Arts High School specializing in contemporary dance. Contemporary dance is cool and requires high technique, but guys, the style is very different from hip-hop, popping, locking, and various dance genres that form the foundation of BTS performances. Just imagine, Jimin, who was used to fluid and expressive contemporary movements, suddenly had to learn hip-hop movements that are sharp, powerful, and full of attitude. It's like being used to eating sweet food and suddenly being asked to cook extremely spicy food. The approach is completely different, right? Well, Jimin experienced tremendous culture shock in terms of dance style. While other trainees who had joined earlier and had hip-hop backgrounds looked more confident and natural when performing, Jimin often felt left behind. He began questioning himself. Was he really suitable to become an idol? Was he good enough to debut with other members who seemed far more skilled? These questions haunted Jimin every day. And what made the situation even harder were the monthly evaluations all trainees had to face. Guys, for those who don't know, the trainee system in South Korea is brutal. Every month, trainees have to show their progress in front of evaluators and company staff. If their progress is deemed unsatisfactory, they could be kicked out of the trainee program. Imagine the pressure. For Jimin, these monthly evaluations were a recurring nightmare. He was willing to practice until late at night, even until morning, repeating the same movements over and over until his body was exhausted and his legs felt numb. But even though he worked incredibly hard, something was still missing. The evaluators often gave the same feedback. Jimin's movements were too stiff, too calculated, and lacked the groove needed for energetic hip-hop performances. Now, in the midst of Jimin's despair, JHope began to notice this younger trainee's struggles. Actually, as a senior trainee, JHope had no obligation to help other trainees. In fact, technically they were competitors fighting for debut positions. But guys, this is what makes JHope different. He has incredible empathy. JHope saw something special in the way Jimin practiced. He saw unwavering dedication, the will to never give up despite falling and failing repeatedly. JHope even said he saw his own reflection in Jimin, someone who wouldn't stop until reaching perfection. And trust me guys, this was a moment that would change Jimin's life forever. One night, after an exhausting practice session and all the other trainees had gone home, the practice room became quiet and dark. Only a light in one corner of the room was on. And there, JHope found Jimin still practicing alone. Guys, imagine, his body was drenched in sweat, his eyes were red, either from exhaustion or holding back tears, and he kept repeating the same movements over and over while staring at the mirror with a look full of frustration and desperation. JHope approached Jimin and sat casually on the studio floor. He didn't say anything right away, just observed Jimin silently for a few minutes. Jimin was startled and felt super awkward being caught struggling like that, but JHope just smiled warmly and asked Jimin to rest for a bit. The two of them ended up sitting side by side on the cold studio floor. In that surprisingly comfortable silence, JHope gently asked what was making Jimin look so stressed out. And guys, this is when Jimin finally opened his heart. He admitted that he felt he would never be able to dance like JHope or other trainees with hip-hop backgrounds. He felt his movements were too stiff, not natural, and lacked the right feeling. Most heartbreaking, Jimin said he was afraid of being kicked out of the trainee program for not being able to improve fast enough. Even in that despair, Jimin had seriously thought about quitting and going back to Busan. Imagine, guys, if Jimin had actually quit then, we would never have the Jimin we love now. BTS might have had a completely different dynamic. This is such a critical moment in BTS history. JHope listened to all of Jimin's concerns with full attention and empathy. And after Jimin finished speaking, JHope looked into Jimin's eyes seriously but with warmth. Then, in a calm but confident tone, JHope said 3 words that would change everything. Guys, this is the moment we've been waiting for. Those 3 words were, "Feel the music," or in Korean, which is read "Yumagol Nukyo." You might think, wait, that's it? Just 3 simple words like that. But guys, trust me, the way JHope said it and the explanation he gave made those simple words have a much deeper meaning. This wasn't just a motivational quote we often hear, but a completely different philosophical approach to dance. JHope explained something mind-blowing. He said that Jimin's biggest problem actually wasn't his technique or physical ability. Jimin already had excellent body control thanks to his contemporary dance training. The real problem was that Jimin was too focused on the movements themselves. He was overthinking whether every pose was perfect, whether every angle was correct, until he forgot that dance is really about expressing music through your body. JHope said that dance isn't just about copying movements or following counts. Dance is about becoming one with the music, letting the rhythm flow through your body, and expressing the emotions carried by the song. And guys, this is such a powerful message not just for dancers, but for all of us in pursuing our passions. To demonstrate his point, JHope played a song and started dancing. But here's the interesting part. He didn't dance with complex movements or super perfect technique. Quite the opposite. He moved very naturally, letting his body respond to every beat, every melody, every tempo change in the song. His movements looked effortless, like the music itself was moving his body. Jimin was completely mesmerized watching JHope perform. Although technically the movements weren't completely perfect, the performance felt so alive and full of emotion. That's when Jimin realized this is what he had been missing all along: connection with the music. After the demo ended, JHope asked Jimin to try, but he chose a slower song with a clear, easy-to-feel beat. And here's the interesting thing, guys. JHope asked Jimin to close his eyes first. Jimin had to listen to the music without thinking about any movement at all, just purely listening. Jimin followed the instruction, and for the first time in several months, he actually truly listened to music without the pressure to perform. He felt the bass vibrating in his chest, the sharp snare, the flowing melody, and the rhythm beating like a heartbeat. And guys, this was the turning point. Then, still with eyes closed, JHope said, "Now start moving. Don't think about choreography. Don't think about whether it looks good or not. Just let your body respond to what you feel from the music." And JHope kept encouraging gently, "Feel the music. Don't think about anything, just feel it." At first, Jimin felt super awkward and confused. But JHope kept encouraging him gently. Slowly but surely, Jimin's body began moving with the rhythm. His movements were still hesitant, still uncertain, but there was something different. There was spontaneity, emotion, a connection between music and body that had never existed before. When the song ended and Jimin opened his eyes, he saw JHope smiling so wide, so proud. JHope said, "That's it. That's what I was looking for." That was the essence of true dance. Technique can be learned, movements can be memorized, but the ability to feel the music and express it through your body is something that must come from within. JHope also gave a brilliant insight. He said that Jimin's contemporary dance background is actually a huge strength. Why? Because contemporary dance is super focused on emotional expression through movement. Jimin was already trained for that. What Jimin needed to do was bring that emotional sensitivity to different dance genres. And guys, since that night, Jimin's whole approach to dance changed completely. Every time he practiced, he no longer just focused on technical movements. Before starting, he always took time to really listen to the music, understand the mood, feel the emotion, and let that feeling guide his movements. JHope's 3 words, "Feel the music," became Jimin's mantra that he always remembered. This change obviously didn't happen overnight. It took months for Jimin to truly internalize this philosophy and integrate it into his dance style. But slowly but surely, evaluators and other trainees started noticing the difference. Jimin's movements became more fluid, more expressive, more alive. He no longer looked like he was memorizing choreography, but like he was telling a story through his body. More importantly, Jimin began to find his own identity as a dancer. He was no longer trying to be JHope or copy the style of other hip-hop dancers. Instead, he created his own unique style that combined the technicality of contemporary dance with the feeling and groove of hip-hop. And guys, this combination became Jimin's signature that set him apart from any other dancer, not just in BTS, but in the whole K-pop industry. Fast forward to BTS's debut, and the world finally got to see the result of Jimin's transformation. Every time he performed, whether in synchronized group choreography or solo performances, Jimin always brought this level of emotional expression that completely captivated audiences. Songs like Lie, Serendipity, Filter, and Promise showcased how Jimin had mastered the art of feeling the music and translating it into movements that touch hearts. Critics and fans worldwide alike recognized Jimin as one of the best performers in K-pop. And guys, this isn't just because of his perfect technique, but because of his ability to convey emotions and connect with the audience on a deep level. That's the power of feeling the music. To this day, Jimin constantly credits JHope as his greatest mentor and inspiration in dance. In numerous interviews and behind-the-scenes content, Jimin has mentioned many times how JHope changed the way he views dance and helped him find his confidence as a performer. Those 3 simple words, "Feel the music," have become the foundation of Jimin's dance philosophy and continue to guide him in every performance to this day. And guys, there's a super powerful lesson from this story that's applicable not just for dancers, but for all of us. Sometimes we focus too much on technical perfection, on doing things the right way, until we forget the essence, the feeling, the soul of what we're doing. Whether it's dance, music, art, or even our daily work, connection and passion are what matter most. JHope's advice to Jimin is a reminder that in any art form, emotional connection is more important than technical perfection. It's about feeling, about expressing yourself authentically, about connecting with what you're doing on a deeper level. And this is wisdom we can apply in any aspect of our lives. So guys, next time you feel stuck or overwhelmed with trying to be perfect, remember Jimin's story. Remember those 3 powerful words, feel the music. Or in the context of our lives, feel what you're doing. Bring your authentic self, your emotions, your passion into whatever you do, and amazing results will follow naturally. Okay, Army, that's the incredible story about JHope's 3 words that changed Jimin's dance journey forever. So inspiring, right? Drop in the comments whether you've had a similar experience, where simple advice from someone completely changed your perspective. And don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, share it with fellow armies, and subscribe for more BTS content. See you in the next video. Borahi, Purple You Army.